Me.
Ask everyone. We got an incredible interview lined up with Browns defensive lineman Roderick Perry. Roderick, how are you doing?
I'm doing good today.
That's good to hear. And as per usual, we are here on the Unwrap Sports Network. Make sure you check out their stuff. Roderick, would you like to give your socials out right
Yes, you
away?
guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at roddebod92, all lowercase and no space.
Yep. And Roderick is tagged on the Twitter post. Make sure you guys go check him out so you guys can follow his journey as he will be a Cleveland Brown, as he already is one, and we will be seeing him play a lot this year, hopefully. But
Yes,
without
sir. Yes, sir.
without ado, let's just get started with transfer portal. You entered it preseason FCS All American, and you decided to transfer from South Carolina State to Illinois. What was that like, and what was your experience doing that?
So it kind of caught me off guard when I was transferring because it wasn't really my intention to do that, and um, the transferring I did didn't come up until my coach had called me, and he was telling me like they wouldn't have a season and stuff, so he looked out for me and said, Perry, I think it's best that you move on to a school that's going to play this fall. So we both agreed on it, talked to the parents, um, talked to some close relatives, former coaches, and within about 3 to 4 days, I ended up committing to Illinois. So
Thank you for that. And at Illinois, as a fan, and even in the Illinois media, you were recognized as probably the most underrated defensive player in the Big Ten. And did you see it that way yourself?
yeah, I definitely saw it at times with just with all the things going on the social media and everything, and I definitely felt that I was underrated and like I was being slept on. But it's all good. It's part of God's plan.
For sure. And being at Illinois, hiring the new coach in Brett Bielema, what was it like to be a part of the beginning of the new era of Illini football with Brett Bielema coming in at the helm?
It was good, man. Even though the season, it didn't turn out the way we wanted it to, but if you really look at it, like there's a lot of potential there, and it's good to know that like that first group of guys that Coach B had, like we were the ones that got it going. So we can always say like it started with us.
Right. And in that season, you guys pulled off a miraculous upset of Penn State. What was that feeling like on the field, knowing that you just upset a team that was projected to win, I believe, by 28 points?
Yeah. Coming into that game, watching the film, we already had our mind set on winning. Everybody had us set on losing, but we already knew from the jump that it was either going to be a close game or we were going to win it. And just being in there for 9 overtimes, going back and forth down the field, I caught a cramp, and it didn't go away for like a couple of days. It was a constant cramp. I was like, well, dang, if that don't feel like 9 overtimes, I don't know what does. So it was just crazy because every time they score, we score. They get a stop, we get a stop, and it's like, oh my goodness, it's never ending. So,
For sure. Did you have any other big time games that you enjoyed playing in besides the 9 overtime fest?
the Minnesota game was a fun one, and the first game of the season was a fun one too because like we were pretty much the only team that was playing that day. So we played against Nebraska, and I think like over 3 million people tuned in or something like that. So
That was a fun game to watch. Another one where you guys upset the three games you named: Minnesota, Nebraska, and Penn State. All underdogs, and you guys rocked them. So,
yeah, don't sleep
and
on Illinois.
exactly. And then, speaking of don't sleep on, you're heading into camp. What's your attitude heading into Browns mini camp?
I've got that walk on mentality, man. I've got that walk on mentality. I just do everything by the book, uh, follow the rules, work hard, work as a team, and just pretty much get the job done. Don't do anything outside of what I normally do, and just keep it that way.
What do you end up doing in the mini camps? Is it like live action drills, or is it just them testing your physicality, your speed, your strength? What?
From my knowledge, because I mean, it'll be my first time. So from my knowledge, it's just all football stuff. From what I assume, throw a couple plays at you, a couple foot. Kind of see like where you're at, I guess, at the moment.
Sounds good. Are there any interesting defensive formations that you guys got in your playbook that you were given?
No, actually, I don't really have any knowledge of the playbook just yet.
And then heading into the Browns minicamp, what are some players that you look up to, like on your team, or even just not on the Browns, just in history that you've modeled your game off of, or that you love watching?
I've always been a fan of Geno Atkins. Actually, he played a short time in the NFL, but he was very impactful. I've been a fan of him. Of course, you can't leave out Aaron Donald. He's been doing his thing for a while. But when I first started getting into football, when I was younger, Geno Atkins was definitely one that I looked up to as the defensive tackle.
For sure. And going back to South Carolina State, you were one of the best players in FCS football. Obviously, it's sad that it ended up having to shut down because of the COVID year. But what was it like at your time playing at the FCS level, comparing that to your high school game, comparing that to the Illinois FBS level?
Yeah, playing. It's a difference between playing at FCS and then there's actually a difference playing at an HBCU in the FCS. Because when you're playing at HBCU, some of them are actually more upgraded than the others. But playing at South Carolina State, we didn't have a lot of the resources that these Power 5 schools have. So when you play at South Carolina State, it's really some dogs that come out of there. You focus primarily on football. You don't have anything on the outside, and it's like when you play at South Carolina State, you gotta love the sports to play there.
Makes sense. And when you're at South Carolina State, do you have any memories that like hit you really hard because you're playing down there? You're not necessarily used to that level because they don't have the resources as much as you might have had in previous years.
Yeah. I think my best memory is like my first 2 years there, or really just my freshman year. My freshman year, and then the breakout season that I had. My freshman year, I'll never forget. We were playing UCF. As a freshman, my mind is wide open. I'm just ready to go. And my first impactful or first play that I had was a sack. So I'll never forget that first play of college football that I had. And just in general, being at South Carolina State, all my teammates and brothers that I developed relationships with over the years and still talk to now, the team camaraderie and everything. Like I'll never forget that. The bus rides, eating in the hotel, eating before the game, like all that small stuff is, you never forget that.
For sure. And with that, playing at South Carolina State, what did playing in an HBCU mean to you?
It means a lot, man. It brings a sense of pride to you. It really does. I think that's the biggest thing of all, the culture and the sense of pride that it has.
For sure. And then, as previously mentioned, the transfer to Illinois, you had no idea. Looking at the state of college football today with a wide transfer portal as wide open as free agency at this point.
Yeah.
And when you first started at college, there's no option like that. It was you had to sit out a year.
Mm-hmm.
How did seeing like all the new transfer portal stuff either like shift your mindset at all?
The transfer portal, that's always, it's always on your mind as a college athlete. But for me, I was just stuck on, playing it out with South Carolina State. And, seeing the way that it's impacting now, it was like, dang, you see how many guys really wanted to leave for a long time. And now it's open. It's an open season.
For sure. And how over your, 5 years because of the COVID eligibility, your 5 years in college, how much would you say that you as a person, you and your game have developed and what you're going to be able to bring to Cleveland?
Oh, it's developed tremendously. I feel like my mindset is, past a rookie mindset, even though I'm coming in as a rookie because I've, been in college football for this amount of years. And it's like, dang, I'm glad I knew this now and not after I go in there and I'm playing with every guy that's a top pick on their team. So,
For sure. And is there any specific player that you're looking forward to meeting on the Browns?
to meet on the brain, yeah, I got to get that autograph from D Watt. Yeah, first day, D Watt got to give me that autograph.
That makes a lot of sense. He's one of my favorite players on the Browns.
Myles Garrett too. We're gonna have to follow behind him, man. He's definitely got to follow behind and nitpick from him on how we can be our best.
For sure. Not sure how they're going to feel about Geno Atkins being one of your favorite players, though.
It's all good. As long as I play like Geno Atkins, I think they'll be good.
As long as you play like Geno Atkins, they're going to love you in Cleveland.
Yes, sir.
Anything else heading into that rookie mind? Like you said, you don't have the rookie mindset. You're there to compete and work. Any advice that you could give to either athletes or just anyone trying to grow in a new area?
Yeah. I feel like the best advice that I can give an athlete is like, do what you set your mind to, and don't let outside affect you. Don't let things on the inside affect you. Like at the end of the day, the best thing I tell an athlete is like, do what's best for you. Because everybody's gonna have their opinions, but at the end of the day, you got to go what you believe in your heart and in your mind. So believe in yourself. Believe in yourself at the end of the day.
And that advice could go out to anyone.
Yeah.
Wow. Over your 5 years at college, what would you say was the most impactful moment, like for you as a person?
For me as a person, I gotta take it back to that freshman year at South Carolina State, man. My D-line coach was real. He was real hard on me, and I didn't realize what he was doing at first. But years after that, and then years later now, it's like, man, I see what he was saying. Because, years later, you find out, oh, he thought this about you. He knew you were going to be this and that. And it's like, wow. It really opens your mind to how much people care for you and want to see you be your best.
That's incredible. And really, with that being said, Roderick, thank you so much for joining the show. Again, we appreciate it. And
I thank you, man. I thank you for reaching out to me.
Of course. And one last question before we go. How do you see the future of college football going? Because you played college football for 5 years. What's the future look like? How bright is it, or how cool has it gotten over this past couple of years?
Oh, these kids gonna be millionaires before they even get to the pros. Yeah, that's it right there. Yeah, these kids gonna be millionaires before they get to the pros. So
for sure. And actually, I'm sorry, I just thought of another one. But what was your recruiting process like heading in from high school to an HBCU? How would you say, what was the recruiting process like, both going from high school to college and then from college to other college?
Okay, so high school to college, I didn't have a Rivals profile. I wasn't on any website. I had like 6 D2 offers, Catawba, Pembroke. That's 2. Oh, Winston-Salem, the independent schools in North Carolina. And then 2 weeks before signing day, I had an offer from South Carolina State. So visited them. It was my only offer, so I went there. And then, at the end of the day, I'm glad I chose South Carolina State. And then when I entered into the transfer portal, you would have, you ask yourself, dang, where was y'all at when I came out of high school? So West Virginia, Ole Miss hit me up. Michigan State hit me up. Florida, Duke. So
So it went from being an under-recruited athlete in high school to, okay, you've shown a lot of promise. Why don't you come here?
yeah,
We didn't want to take it. We didn't necessarily know who you were, but you know what? We know who you are now. You're terrific. We want you now. Come here now.
yeah. And with the way that high school recruiting is set up, it's like once you get that one big offer, then the rest of them start coming in.
Do you like after going through the transfer portal and being recruited? I don't want to say would you have any complaints, but how would you fix the structure?
About the
If you
transfer
could.
portal.
Either the transfer portal of high school recruiting, like going through it as an under-recruited player to being one of the top transfers in the portal.
I wouldn't say. I honestly, I don't have an opinion on fixing it, but what I would tell high school players is get that one offer that you really want. Get that one offer that you really want, whether it's North Carolina State, Alabama, Ole Miss, whatever big school that you really want, even if it's Group 5, like whatever offer you want, go and get that one offer, and then the rest will come in.
That's great advice.
And then
All
the
right.
transfer portal is the transfer portal, so it's just open season now, though.
Transfer portal's a bingo lottery type of thing. But Roderick, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Look forward to
Of course.
putting it on for you guys on Sunday.
Of course. Go Browns and ILL.
Hey, ILL.
All right. Thank you so much, Roderick. You want to shout out your socials one more time before we end this?
Yes. Instagram, RodDabod92, RODDABOD 92. Same on Twitter.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Roderick. And as always, we are Unwrapped Sports. I'm Ethan Carboni. Thank you for tuning in.